Feel I'm the most targeted citizen. This is my backup channel, Targeted Citizen 3, so I don't expect too many to come in. Not many come in on my other channel, my larger channel, Most Targeted Citizen. But I wanted to welcome you here today. I'm busy. Everybody's the house, but I did thought it's not. It's pretty tragic with Tina's car messing up. That was $250 that none of us were planning on, that I had to come up with. And of course, that was out of my money to build a houseboat, money to secure the property that I'm trying to get so I can build my houseboat. Along with that, I've had a whole lot of doctor expenses. I have to go to the doctor. My doctor bills average about $500 a month. That's money that I have to come up with. That means I have to sell something or go and work a little bit here, work a little bit there. Thank God the Lord has provided opportunities for me to make money. My buddy does small engine repair, and anytime I want to make 20, 30, 40, $50, I mean, it's far beyond what I used to make, but you do what you can do. So the Lord has blessed me in that fact. But as I said, the houseboat has not, it's not deterred. I'm not deterred at all. I think we're actually moving into the right time because now it's cooler and I can get things done. Today, what I'm doing is I'm doing the final prep on filling the pontoons. And remember, on the pontoons on the ends, I cannot fill in because I had to bolt these plates in, but I'm filling these all the way to the top with styrofoam and with the bottles. Everybody said, "You got so much trash in your backyard. You got so much trash in your backyard." Well, as you can see, this is the point of the trash. I'm filling these pontoons with flotation. So a lot of people say, "Well, your boat's gonna sink. It ain't gonna work. It's gonna sink. That's just junk." Well, as you can see, as thick as this plastic is, they put motor oil in these plastic barrels. I'm not gonna risk these jugs just tearing willy-nilly. So as you can see, I've got that for the first stage of protection for flotation. Second stage is I'm putting in this closed cell foam. These floats right here were free as well. Remember, I'm recycling. These have been underneath the dock for 30-some years. So I'm filling these up, and of course they don't add much weight, so it's not going to really affect me moving them around. But this is the point. I'm going to go ahead and fill in all the insides. We've got hurricane moving in, and we'll probably feel the effects of that the next day or two. I think tonight's when we're really going to we already had a lot of wind today. But as you can see, I've got them all turned up. I'm going to fill them all up with styrofoam. I may not even need the bottles. I just wanted to go through and see how much the difference between the bottles and the floats. And the floats is going to take up more area. It's going to be less room for water to get in. So that'll probably be what I go with. But I wanted to make sure that I had enough. People are like, "You're just collecting junk. You don't know what you're doing." Listen, people have been floating things for thousands of years. I mean, you could poop in the water and the turd will float. So I'm not worried about this sinking. That's the farthest thing from my mind. All the bottles, all the caps, all the lids, and all the valves, I've liquid nailed them shut, so they're not going to leak. And I could tell which one's leak and which one don't. None of them leak because when it rains in them, they fill up with freaking water, and I got to come out here and dump them. That's been the worst part about this. I wish I would not have built these at all until I got out to the lake. But the main reason for building these here is to have everything here. And then when I take out 16 foot at a time, I build that pontoon, put it in the water. Build a pontoon, put it in the water. Now today what I was going to do is go to Home Depot, which I did go to Home Depot, and I was going to get a big roll of plastic. And each one of these I was going to cover in plastic so water can't get in them. And then I was going to take it out to the lake and then start building. First thing I have to do is I have to procure permission, and for me to do what I want to do, I've got to pay $300. I have to come up with $300 to pay for the property to build my houseboat on. That's, as you see, that's a big struggle. I'm not beyond telling you that when my house is broken into, it happens so frequently that I take my wallet out of my pants and stash it right next to me as I sleep to keep my money from being stolen. Not from people in my home, but from the gang stalkers stealing money, stealing cash. I counted my money, and this is how much I avoid triggering my PTSD. I will intentionally not count my money because I don't want the thought of how much I've lost. I'll intentionally, like Tina, when she got this phone and we had to convert everything over. I haven't even checked all the files I asked her to convert over because I don't want that. I don't want to know how many files that she lost, because it will trigger me and it will set me off for days. PTSD is a debilitating disease. It is, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That's how this program thrives, on post-traumatic stress disorder. It thrives on trauma-based mind control. So this is what that is. I was, like I said, I was going to buy the roll of plastic at Home Depot, but man, that's $68. It'd have been $75 by the time I pay taxes, and $75 for plastic. So I'm trying to think of a different way. What I may do is take these tarps, and since they're thick, they've got the these metal ends on them. I may flip it over and cut each one to fit, and then staple it underneath right here. I just don't want to affect when I start mounting the other beams, because off of these I'll have hurricane strap, and then it'll be a 12-footer. Hurricane strap, 12-footer. And in the middle will be another pontoon, and another pontoon, and another pontoon. Those. There'll be a second row on the inside either way. If you've been doing long enough, you know what I'm talking about. Hit the thumbs up. Come on, 7 people in here. Didn't mean to get distracted with the turd gorilla. This man is hurt, and he's dangerous. I don't know what has hurt him in his life, but I think that he has no socialization skills. He is out to targeted individuals. His goal in life is to targeted individuals. So the people he says that are crazy or insane and have a disease that says that you don't know the disease you have, me, that says I'm being targeted, well, I'm being targeted by him and many, many others. If you watch my life long enough, you ain't caught me in a lie, and you're not going to. I simply cannot believe that when I'm in the middle of a mountain, you can see the drone that I'm talking about. Literally. We're just going to call it Jupiter because that's the easiest thing to blame. And no one has even come up with the thought that they talk about, look at the sky map, look at the sky map. When I'm telling them I'm going west and Jupiter comes up in the east, or I'm going east and then Jupiter should be in the west, their own science proves them wrong. And if you watched the video last night of the drone, you could see it flashing blue and white. Now, it wasn't blue, it was red and green make white. So it was the red lights and the green lights, which are required on Carolina. We're flashing 1,000 times. These people, they don't want to be wrong. So they're never going to be accepting anything else. He may be lonely with awkward resistance. He probably just wants to be your friend. Well, that's the thing, man. Gorf begged me, please just come on here on my platform and we'll talk. We'll do a live chat and I'll debunk you. Well, he's citing studies that were cited and funded by the U.S. government. He's going through. I mean, and he's listening to these. One guy. He's the internet this YouTube psychologist, and he sits there with his little. You can tell he's a pathetic older man. He's like 50 years old. He sits there with his glasses and his doctor somebody, and he's already diagnosed targeted individuals. We're all just crazy. We all just decided one day, you know what? I'm just going to throw my life away and play victim. I'm just going to not work anymore. I'm going to be debilitated. I'm going to throw away everything I've worked my ass off for to act like a crazy person, because that works. I mean, anyone to malign Dr. John Hall. And they never cite the doctors who have come out and have admitted that this is true. I mean, when the CIA agents had Havana syndrome and are still being affected by Havana syndrome, and the CIA came out and said, oh no, they just had concussions. Employees of the CIA were hit with directed energy weapons. The victims know it. They go tell the CIA, and the CIA plays dumb. We don't know what happened. We don't know. And then they go to the media and tell the media, and now the CIA is like, well, we've researched it, and there's nothing wrong with them people. And then you have people in the media like Anderson Cooper, who's a trillionaire. I mean, he's got more money than God. Literally. He's a CIA operative. Wolf Blitzer, CIA operative. People just, nope. Operation Mockingbird puts all these people in the media to push the narrative they want. And they're like, well, and I'm going to step on some toes. Under the Obama administration, are you listening? Obama put thousands and thousands of unqualified minions of his into the, somebody reported being followed by drones or airplanes, this, that, and the other, then they had their communist operators in. Now, a lot of people have been leaving me a link to the Department of Homeland Security, who had a press conference a couple days ago talking about people like me that are being targeted. And who did they blame it on? Who did Joe Biden's dude blame it on? It's the Chinese. It's Russia. It's all these foreign governments that are, but he admitted that people like me are being targeted. He admitted they're using these weapons on us. And people are like, it's the Chinese. Well, it's just like with computers. The FBI and the CIA, they can leave fingerprints. After they hack something, they can leave fingerprints that leads back to Russia. They can leave little clues to make it be like a foreign power did it, so no one else knows it. The CIA took America down. Plain and simple. Took America down. It's disgusting. It's I don't know. Your opinions, your thoughts? It's sad that somebody has to put so much effort into it. I mean, I am deep. Either I am deep in their minds or I'm deep up their rear ends, but it just doesn't bother me anymore. I'm so freed by it. Just like another woman named Teresa, she comes on here and she's like, you don't know anything about the Bible? You have no faith in God. God is powerful, more powerful than all them things. I don't remember the Bible that God says, I'm going to protect you and nothing's ever going to happen to you. You're going to be safe. You're never come to harm. You're not going to be persecuted. Nobody's going to hurt you because I'm all powerful. God never said that. He said that his people will be persecuted and persecuted to death. That's what the Bible says. And she's like, you don't have faith in God because you keep trying to be a victim. I'm on this channel getting my reputation, putting myself in danger every day to warn people of what is here. Not what's coming, but what's here. They're literally controlling the minds of the population. Everybody's like, no, mind control don't exist. They're telling you every day. Google the new Mercedes car. It's all electric. This thing looks like a thing from the future. The car works off of reading your mind. If you put this thing on your head, they don't listen. If they show you technology, that technology is 50 years old. This is technology they've had forever. This car, you sit in this car, you put this headset on, and it reads your thoughts. If you want to open the door, you think open the door, and the door opens. You want to crank the car, you think crank the car. You want to go faster, you think faster. You want to brake, there's no brake pedals, there's no steering wheel, there's no nothing. Everything is from your mind. This is a Mercedes. But no, our government doesn't have anything like that. I mean, I've showed the patents. I've shown the patents of this technology. No, they ain't got nothing like that. I mean, they came out on Facebook a couple years ago and said, yes, we're researching technology to read your mind. If you guys are filling out all these surveys about what kind of a man you are, what kind of woman you are, or what kind of an animal you would like to be, or what kind of car you would be, or this, that, and the other, all these are surveys to pick your mind, to find out information about you. If you think that they don't know how to read your mind, I was the first one to say it, guys, that when I get around YouTube or Facebook, I can just think something and it pops up in my news feed. I was the one that said that, and everybody said, oh, you're crazy. Well, then they came out a little bit later and said, oh, well, the speaker's on. You give us permission to spy on your conversations. We listen to your conversations. We look for all your information. We do that as Facebook because you accepted that in terms of service. What happens today when they say, yes, we have been reading your mind? Whistleblowers are telling you that. Yeah, whistleblowers are telling you that. I'm the one telling you that, but no, we're not going to listen to me because I'm just not credible enough. I'm still waiting. Let's see. I said it too. There you go. There you go, Moss Man. I'm still waiting for the timestamp and the video of when I lied. I've got 2 channels full of videos, probably 1,000 videos now. Timestamp it, mark it where I lied. As much as I talk and as often as I'm off the cuff, because I don't plan these videos, guys. Usually it's an emotion I've had or an event or an experience that I've had, and I come right on here, push record, and I start. There should be a million lies on there if I'm a certified liar. If I'm the one that's not going to tell you the truth, it should be easy to find because liars must have the best memories. I've got a horrible memory. That's why I always try to tell the truth. That's my rant for the day. Anyway, as you can see, we're filling them up, and I'm just sick of my yard looking like this, guys. I hate it. I don't like it any more than anybody else, but I've got all these left. All those left. All those floats left. I've got all those floats left over there. Man of God who speaks truth, be persecuted. There you go. And if you're not being persecuted, guess what? You're not a threat to the devil. The devil's not going to mess with somebody that's on his team. If you're not being persecuted daily, even if you're not a targeted individual, you're not going through persecution, then guess what God's going to say when you stand before him? He'll say, leave from me. I do not know who you are. That's exactly what God's going to say. I don't want to stand before God and him say that to me. I don't want him to spew me out of his mouth because I'm lukewarm. I want God to say, well done, good and faithful servant. That's my desire. Am I failing every day? Absolutely, I fail every day. I am imperfect. I am wrong. I'm a sinner. Adam cursed me to that. But every day I get up, and that's why I know I'm on the right track. Because if I was like this person, this turd gorilla, if I was like him, every other word would be an F-bomb. Every word GD. I mean, he told me that I was insane. Okay, listen. You're insane because I did not use a Google term correctly. Because I didn't say Windows or Google Chrome 11. Because I didn't say that. I was insane. I was insane because I said that my phone's GPS wouldn't work. I was insane because I could not get a computer term correct. That's where he's judging my sanity, because I don't choose to invest in computer terms. I would put a challenge out there to Turd Gorilla. Why don't you see if you can maybe change oil in your truck? Can you change oil? Can you maybe weld? Can you weld? Can you create anything? I'm sure that procreation is probably out of his ballpark, because that requires genitalia. Forgive me, Lord. Okay, I got lost again. It's so funny because the people that have met me, and I know they laugh every time they see somebody attacking me. I know they laugh about it because they're like, I've met Stuart Pidlong. I've met him. And this guy is not going to act like an ass. That guy's not going to act like a jerk. You know? In my face. They're not going to come to my house and act stupid like that. They know better. So it's silliness. And if you watch the video of the rant that he was on there, he was like threatening. He was using homosexual slurs. I mean, he was just going off. I'm the guy that everybody hates, except he's the one on there just rattling off epithets. And here's the thing for the trolls that like to just lurk, that come to my channel. The first thing I do, and this is going to teach you that you need to hide your channels. The first thing I do with people who come that are new subscribers is I go through their channel list. And there are 3 or 4 certain channels that you subscribe to. That's the only reason you're here, because you subscribed to them, you saw them bashing me, so you thought you were going to come over here and get entertainment so you can run back over there and have fun. Normally, I don't even take time to mess with you. I just block. It's simple. I don't need it. Nobody's paying me to get harassed. Nobody's donating money to me to help me. There's one person, and God bless him, he's donated when he has $10 to spare. He donates to me. God bless him. Thank him for it every single time. So when people can help, I appreciate it. But guys, you see my life. I'm hiding literally nothing. Nothing. I'm going to go through all this trouble, spend all this money, because I know this doesn't look like much money to anybody else. But right now, I probably got $12,000 wrapped up in this houseboat. Okay, that's not a lot of money for a house. It's not. But every single dime I've made for the last 2.5 years, I put into this houseboat. I literally don't eat. I started eating nothing but peanut butter and jelly for the last 6 goddamn months just to save money. And guess what? I can't even do that now because my doctor says I'm pre-diabetic because of my blood, because of too much sugar. And I can't drink the water here, so I have to drink this Lipton sweet tea. So, you know, my health's in danger every day just trying to build this houseboat. But I'm going to go through all this. I'm going to buy all this. I'm going to do all this work to pull off a YouTube con. So the people that know me and love me out there, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me, Moss Man, Gorf, all of you that's being here to support me and pray for me. Your prayers are the thing that matter, but just know that I'm praying for you too. I'm praying that one day, I honestly don't think this program's going to end. I think it's going to go even mainstream because more and more people every day are just freaking out and going out and doing mass violence. Every day people are just freaking out and killing themselves. Veterans are still murdering themselves at 21 a day with self-murder. Veterans every day are killing themselves, and we're just thinking, oh, well, it was just war. It was just war. They saw bad things. It affected them. They just decided to kill themselves. Listen, our boys in World War II in Vietnam, they went through hell. Now, I'm not going to compare the worst of the worst between our America's invasion of other countries. I'm not going to compare heartache. But there's a problem when 21 veterans a day in America, with all the resources that we have now in today's time, that men are just blowing their brains out. That's a problem. And if you look from when cell phones were put in mainstream, they started putting up all these towers everywhere. When you start looking at when the towers went up, you'll start seeing heart disease, diabetes, and mental illness go through the roof. And all of this was done during congressional testimony that I shared on my channel, and everybody said, that doctor don't know what she's talking about. But I told you, these frequencies are driving people crazy. Listen, I've been in the woods for the last 2 weeks, guys. There are no more squirrels. I'm not seeing squirrels. I'm not seeing rabbits, and I'm hardly hearing birds out in the woods. I haven't seen hardly any deer. Raccoons to a minimum. It's either this. It's either they're killing all the wildlife with frequencies, or the frequencies that they're hitting me with is scaring the wildlife off. Both of those are an absolute possibility, because I know how to be quiet, and I could sneak up on a freaking biscuit to take a bite if I need to. So there's a big correlation with the violence in this world, the mental illness, the suicide rates going through the roof, and the technology that we keep importing into the world. That's the worst part. This is evil. It's happening. You think these jets just have the money to get it? I mean, just like the argument, well, them people ain't gonna get around flying airplanes just to target you. Why would they waste so much money? For one thing, it doesn't cost anything because it's not their money. It's our money. The United States took in more tax revenue last year than ever in American history. Ever in American history, more revenue last year, and yet we're even more in debt right now than ever before. They're doing all this just to hurt us. With us in raising and such through cell phones, they don't have to send them through cell phones. Jamie, Miss Jamie, I appreciate your comment. I know we've had a rocky relationship. Let me tell you this. Once they have your DNA, now ask yourself, how do they get your DNA? Well, they just had a mass hysteria of an illness the past 2 years. And with that mass illness, what did they do? They got everyone's blood sample. With everyone's blood sample, that was one way to gather DNA. Another way to gather DNA was, well, of course, when you're born. Well, they only started that, back in the 90s when they started keeping your blood type on file. Well, now, when you get arrested for anything, even low-level crimes, they take your DNA. They want everyone's DNA. Why? Because through your DNA, they get your resonant frequency. This is all researched. I've left you the links. I've shown you the reads. Just look it up, DNA. And I've shared several things on my channel that once they get your DNA, then all they get to do is type that in the computer, and they can find you, your signal from your body. The same signals your brain tells your foot that it's being tickled is the same signals they can pick up with their supercomputers. So people say, why would the drones follow you? Well, maybe the drones are weaponized. Maybe they're testing the drones, the tracking technology through the drones. If they keep their eye on me all the time, and then they got tracking my resonant frequency, then they know it's working, and they're working out the book. It's not an experiment. They're testing weaponry on me. V2K, the Voice of God weapons, they have to have your resonant frequency, because I could be in a room with 1,000 people and I'm the only one hearing voices. Well, it's just because you're the only one crazy. Well, I've shown you a man who created one of those weapons, Mr. Woody, on my channel, where he points it at your head. Well, now they don't need that. What do they do the first thing when they make a missile? How do they make a missile? First thing is they create the body of the missile. They want it to be aerodynamic. Then they get the what? Then they get the propulsion. They get either the gunpowder, the rocket fuel, the jet fuel. They have to have something to make the explosion. Once they build the missile, they know that missile is going to kill whatever they do. What do they have to build next? They have to have tracking technology. That way, they just don't point it like a gun and it shoots over there. No, they have to have a tracking mechanism on it. That way, when they want it to go. Now, in the Gulf War, they had a laser light that they point at a target, and it would lock on. The missile would lock on to that light. Okay, they don't need that anymore. With DNA, your resonant frequency is that lock-on point. So they can find you and you and you and you and you. There's nowhere to hide on this planet. They're tracking everything you do. The cell phone was just the start of it, but they don't need that anymore. Once they have your DNA sample, which is everywhere. Nano, of course, is everywhere as well. They can track you anywhere. If they wanted me dead, and remember what I told you, and I want you to research it. When I say something, go research it. Go look up nanoparticles. Go look up resonant frequency. Go up look up DNA-based weapons. Look up directed energy. Look up everything. I'm telling you because it's there. Just go patents for directed energy, and you're going to see more patents you can shake a stick at. As I told you in the first Gulf War, 10,000 Taliban troops disassembled their AK-47s, threw them on the ground, raised their hands up, and surrendered because Allah was in their head. There were reports that there were holograms of Allah. Who knows what Allah sounded like, but they all heard a voice inside their head. Not through their ears, but inside their mind's eye, in their inside head. They heard a voice of Allah telling them to disarm their weapons, to tear apart their weapons, and surrender. And 10,000 troops did it. Now ask yourself, if they got that kind of weapon, then why are we killing anybody at all? Because death sells. Billions of dollars we're seeing in Ukraine. You think that's all going in weapons? No. Anytime there's a war, money goes out the door faster than ever. You think Joe Biden ain't pocketing that money? You think people in Congress ain't putting money in their pockets? You think that Zelensky ain't putting billions in his pocket? Warlords are the richest on the planet because there's always somebody willing to fund it. Always willing to fund it. But please research it. Please. Don't throw the baby out with the bath water. Everything else is actual. They're testing these weapons. Listen, what's the best way to control society? Is it for the U.S. government to come in and start killing everybody? Could they do that? Yes. That would wake too many people up. There'd be too many people ready to fight then. But if we could take them out one at a time or get a targeted individual, a patsy, put a voice in their head and then supply them with arms like in the Uvalde shooting, supply them with weaponry to go out and wipe out 10 or 12 or 15, they're going to do that. It's going to go from one. And it's just like, it's the difference between addition and subtraction and multiplication. You get one man to kill himself, that's one life gone. You get one man to go out and do mass murder, that's 5 to 10. While at the same time using that one person of the 5 to 10 to convince the world that we don't need any more things to defend ourselves. We're a safe country. We don't need those things. I mean, they have all the information they need. The worst gun crime in America are in the states, in the cities, in the counties that have the strictest gun control. They know that gun control is a failure. The way you protect people is you arm people, because eventually the good guy's always going to win. 3 million lives are saved every year in America thanks to bang bangs. They know that's true. But to disarm the society so they are the only ones with arms, they have to let the violence multiply. So they can do it by pumping frequencies into different environments like, I don't know, the rioting of 2020. Think about that, the rioting of 2020. You think that was just natural, that a bunch of people just wanted to go out and tear stuff up? Oh, no. They were pumping and dumping frequencies in there to drive those people crazy. Like I told you, remember, the frequency scale, they can make you anxious, they can make you paranoid, they can make you mad and angry. They even have ones that can tickle your fancy, if you know what I mean. All through a little frequency. They can manipulate your entire mind. And I'm just over here screaming, it's happening, and nobody wants to listen. It's all over history. It's on pyramids, the technology they had even back then. So it's a deadly world. Like, share, and subscribe, and still appear long. I got to get busy. You see, I'm actually busy. I love you. Jesus loves you. Pray for me. Pray for my family. Pray for your purpose. Always pray in Jesus' name. Listen, research what I said. Resonant frequency, DNA-based weapons, targeted individuals, directed energy weapons, nanoparticles. Look up all this stuff. Look up the New World Order. Look up the Great Reset, which we're in the middle of, and we're not going to survive it. You will have, this is Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab said, you will have nothing. You will own nothing. You will be hungry. You will belong to us. That's Klaus Schwab. The New World Order's here, and they ain't going away. God bless. See ya. Bye.